The first step in making your PDF folio is to make a template in InDesign. So if you open InDesign, you'll see that there's a lot of similarities that it shares with Photoshop in the way that you have your tools palette over on the left-hand side, and many of the tools look similar. And then you have some options bar up top where this is going to be depending on some of the tools you're in. And you have layers, and you have colors and stroke and pages and swatches. So these are all things that are similar, and we're going to be using some of these things in the next couple screencasts to construct your template. The first thing though you need to really consider is what you want that PDF portfolio to look like. You can have it with a kind of a straightforward PDF where you have an image, one image per page, and there's nothing in that area except the image. Or you could do something a little bit different where you might want to have a setup like this where you have the image like so, and then you have some text somewhere on the page, and then the navigation bar becomes a little bit simplified in that all this will remain identical through each of the images that you make. You'll just have a title on there, you'll have maybe have a tagline down there, and what will change are the images here and the text over here. Now, in this particular example, we see a background that's been set in there, and the reason that is to kind of break up that open space that's there. You know, especially if you have a big white area or a big black area or even a big gray area. Having some kind of a background image helps break that up. And to do this, we'll go into Photoshop, we'll take one of your images, we'll radically reduce the contrast and radically reduce the opacity so that we have just a very, very light image like this, and we'll use that as the background. Okay, but right now, let's construct a folio that has one image on a page, and then we'll start building the navigation bar. So to do this, what we'll do is we'll go into go into InDesign, and we're going to go to File, New, and we're going to make a new document. And the first thing we're going to change in here is that unlike a textbook or a book kind of thing where you're going to have facing pages, we're going to have single pages through this. So let's take or uncheck facing pages off, and then we'll set the size, and what we want to do is get a ratio that's pretty similar to most monitors, so we'll put 8.333 and 11.111 like so, and we'll put it in landscape orientation like that. We're going to have one column. You can choose to have a margin on there or not. If you want them all the same like this, and just do a quick way to change all these is this button right here will link all those together. So if it's checked like this, it'll link them. So if I make this 0, okay, it will make all of them 0, and it shouldn't have disappeared like that, but there's no border, there's no margin around here now, so that's a quick way to do that. So here's our page right now, and we can choose, by default, we can choose to keep it at white like this, but it's probably not the best thing to do. And the reason is that when you have a lot of white like this, when you're looking at a PDF, it might get a little fatiguing or a little hard on the eyes. So it's better to make some kind of color on there other than white, even a dark color like black or a middle gray, or just a non-obtrusive kind of color. So let's go in here and set that. Now, the first thing we want to do is, let me make this a little bit smaller so I can see this, is we want to take our rectangle tool like this, and we want to go a little bit larger than our document. And then we want to go on the swatches. Okay? And right now we have this paper, and we have registration on here. You might have some colors in here, you might not. You might just have these three things. So what we'll do is, you'll see if we just click black, it will then fill that black area, fill that area that we drew in black. And that's what we do. Now, if we don't have a color like that, what we can do is go into the drop-down menu here and say New Color Swatch. Okay? And that will bring up this dialog box. And what you want to do is have this set for RGB, because we're not really going to do anything as offset printing for this, so RGB is fine. And then you can go ahead and dial in your colors in here, and you can have it name the color value, or you can name the swatch, whatever you want, like that. So that's how you make it a different color on there if you want to do that. Okay, so there's our background. We have it set. We have our document set up. And the only other thing we want to look at, and that is, if I can go into pages in here, is we want to actually be on a master page. So notice that we put this all on the first page like this. Well, that means now we're going to have to go ahead and do this on everything that's in there. So what we want to do is actually make this on the master page. So let me just repeat what I did there, or hopefully you will not have to do this. You won't have to repeat it because you'll look at this and say, oh, I need to put it on the master first. So double click on the master page, and you can verify that by looking down in the bottom left hand corner, and it should say A master. So that means everything you're going to do is going to be on that master page. So let me do the same process again. Let me take this, let me go a little bit bigger than my document. Yep, see, I didn't quite get it there, but I can move it out like so. Oh, yeah, I know. Come on. Well, let me do that. Let me just try it all over again. Okay, like so. Okay, and then I'll go into swatches and black, and it's there. And if I go back into pages, you can see that my master has changed, and that's exactly what I want, because now when I make new pages from master, I won't have to repeat this step on every page. Okay, so that's the setup for setting the background color. You can choose any color you want when you do this. And then the next screencast, we're going to look at building the navigation bar.